Ladies and gents, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome back to the podcast. We're talking about two things here. Number one today, getting wound up from your ex-boyfriend and girlfriend. Waiting to tell you this story in a second. This poor guy here, and don't get me wrong, I know there's plenty of guys out there that fuck around with women too and wind them up. But we're talking about ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends. Are you friends with them afterwards? Do you block them on social media? And guys, anybody else listening to the podcast here, not on TikTok, I'm going to call out some of them all here, okay? Some of the comments here. There's quite a few comments here. We're doing a live TikTok, guys. I want to get some reaction here. The girls are jumping in fairness, and I appreciate all the comments here, ladies, and the lads, obviously, but especially the ladies here. You're giving me a lot of feedback. And one moment here. There's a girl looking for advice. Kat, we will come back to you. Absolutely. I'll help you out as much as I can. So there's quite a few girls here. One girl is saying that she's friends with 80% of her exes. That, to me, mind boggles me. Seriously, it mind boggles me. If anything, I would go the other way around, and I'd be saying 80% of dudes will never want to be friends with their ex. And that would be generous saying that. I would personally go 90 to 95% of dudes do not want to be friends with your ex. Okay? Just doesn't happen. I can't see why a woman would too. I mean, what if you're the one that gets dumped? And by the way, anybody listening here on TikTok, what if you're the one that gets dumped? Are you really going to be okay if he's off with some other chick in a few weeks and he dumped you because there's someone better out there than you? That's what you're going to think, right? Probably. Your ego's going to be hurt. Are you really going to be asking him, oh, well, how'd you get on with Mary there last night? Or are you having the fun in the sheets, are you? Seriously. And you get, unless you feel the guy's a complete loser and you feel sorry for this guy and you know he's just completely in love with you, in love with him, and you do not want to, under any circumstances, want anything to do with him, but you feel bad for him, that's even worse, because you shouldn't be doing that. You're making him feel worse. I mean, let's make under no illusions. I would say I don't know. What am I going to say? Any guy or girl that's friends with their ex, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And these guys that do want to be your ex, there's a really, really good chance this guy just wants to get back with you. And I can tell you this, there's guys out here now certainly don't want to be sitting there with you and going, so, Mary, are you sleeping with them now? Or, what's going on? He doesn't want to be sitting there hearing that. No one wants to feel like they're second best or the other person's moved on. Everybody wants to move on first after a relationship. Like, come on, guys. Come on. Now, let's just check some of these TikToks because there's quite a few comments that are coming in here. And, okay. Amanda, do more live TikToks. I will try. Thank you very much. Laura comes in. 100% block. They're an ex for a reason. I agree with you, Laura. Thank you for that. Archbishop says, so true. I'm not sure which part there. Jay, she's got bros in different area codes. Possibly. Kat, why do you want to be friends with your exes? Yeah. Amanda, still meet up with them and hang out, even give relationship advice. You see, Amanda, do you feel... I hope this isn't your real name, by the way, and, I tried to keep these things private. But, you know what? There's no fucking way on this planet I'm going to have an ex-girlfriend and I'm going to listen to her fucking advice. Not in a trillion years. And let's look at it from both angles, right? She dumps you. Now all of a sudden your ego's hurt, your feelings are hurt. And okay, enough time passes, but you still have that thing in your head, that voice saying, She dumped you, she dumped you, she dumped you, she dumped you. Okay? And what? Now she's charity? You see, this is what I'm thinking. Now the girl's charity? She's actually trying to help me? Jesus Christ, she shoots me in the chest, lets me almost bleed to death. Now she's bringing me to the hospital and making sure I'm all okay. Really? This is where we're going? I'm serious, by the way, man. I would be thinking twice about this relationship advice to guys, because I can't speak for every guy on the planet, and please, if there's any guys listening here, jump in here. Would you have an ex-girlfriend and listen to their relationship advice for the next girl coming along? Would you take advice off your ex? I would dying to hear what some people would say about this. There's no fucking way. Now, let's say I dump her. And then, I don't know, bit time passes, and now, obviously I didn't want to be with her. So now, if anything, there's no way on this earth I'm gonna go along and actually give my ex relationship advice. I would feel, and it doesn't mean I'm right or wrong here, but I would feel that I'm being selfish. I have to admit. Call me wrong, and I could be wrong on that one, okay? But I'd be saying to myself, Jesus Christ, Peter Walsh, who the fuck are you to come along and give your ex who you dumped relationship advice? Are you serious? I'd be having to check in with myself. I'm not saying that you'd be going crazy, and I'm not calling anybody that, no. But maybe you actually feel so bad for them, and I get that too. Like, I honestly do, you know? If they're so into you, then all of a sudden, oh my God, what am I going to do? I just dumped Mary, and oh my God, like... Now, Laura jumps in on TikTok. I think people would only give advice out of pity. I agree. And you know what? I'd feel like the biggest asshole on the fucking planet if I was in that scenario. There's no way I could do this. There's no way. Archbishop, better Peter with an ice cream to trust an ex. Better Peter with an ice cream to trust an ex. Did I miss something there on that one? I just get some more one here. Sharon, played table tennis with an ex from 10 years ago last night. Jesus. Okay, Sharon, let me know. Are you in a relationship, or is he in a relationship, or what's the scenario here? Has there been any flirting? Has there been any... What's going on? And then a girl jumps in. I'm after being in a relationship since him, just like he's after being in relationships. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you're over him, or he's over you. You know what I mean? Like, I just think we have to be very careful of being selfish to these people. You know? What if they do have a great Oscar-winning acting performance here and they want you back? They're your ex. You clearly don't want to be with them, right? Like, isn't it awkward? You know? Like, Jesus, you could bump into one of your best friends from back in the day and you fell out with the person, but, you know, 10 years later you could still bump into them and it's still awkward, but yet that's just a best friend. You didn't cross over the line with them. And, you know, I'm open to all suggestions here, guys, so, you know, I'm not having to go off anybody here. Let's have a look at more TikToks here. Let's see what people are saying. And... Kat, you broke up for a reason. My ex married my friend. They were having an affair and I walked in on them. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, and let me just ask you a question, Kat. Are you still friends with them? I bet you're not. Are you friends with her? I bet you're not, and you'd be dead fucking right too, by the way. Jesus. Manda, not really. So everyone here, do you have bitterness towards every one of your exes? Not really. Bitterness towards every one of your exes. Are you sure you think that, Manda? If you were friends with an ex beforehand, that could be a different story. That could be a different story. Because you were friends first. But if you meet a girl and you jump in, something went wrong in this little fairy tale here between the two of you. One of you didn't want to be with each other anymore. And that's it. Like, it's not bitterness. It's called being healthy and moving on. You know? For me, anyway, okay? Look, I'm not going to speak for all dudes, all women here. Absolutely not. But that's not bitterness. That's just fucking being smart because I don't want to be around my ex. You know? And what happens if you do bump into them with another girlfriend or husband or wife, boyfriend, whatever the hell it is? Are you going to be hanging out with them having pints? Are you going to be comparing sex lives between each other? Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I used to do it Mary this way. And oh really? Did you, buddy? Did you? Yeah, I can really see guys doing that. Do you know what I mean? I'm speaking from a guy's point of view here now. Right? Guys are on no circumstance going to be saying that to each other. Okay? And why? Because there's still that little... So no, for guys anyway, it is certainly not bitterness. Kat, why would I go back there? It was awful. Exactly, I agree. And Laura, I would imagine a current partner would be happy if their partner was taking advice for... You see, there's another one too. There's another angle. You know, can you imagine you got a girlfriend and she's meeting up with the ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend? You know? If there's no problem, well, why would the new boyfriend or girlfriend have a problem? They shouldn't, right? Right? I mean, if this is where we're going with this. Yeah, I don't... Archbishop, God bless you, Peter. You were a kind man on this relationship subject. Well, cheers. I mean, I'm kind of having a go, but I'm not having a go here. I'm just calling it the way I see this here. And end of the day, I just will never be friends with an ex-girlfriend. That's for me, and I know 90% of guys are the same. You know? So, no. Amanda, some people, they just fall out of love and you cut ties in a relationship. You might not talk to them straight away, but after a while you become friends. Like, I get it. If you bump into your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend after a couple of years, I 100% understand that if you're single and they're single, you could all of a sudden meet them and go, oh my God, hey, how are you? Jeez, it's been such a long time. And you're actually able to have a conversation with them because you're over them, right? And then you decide, do you want to go for a cup of coffee? Sure, yeah, come on, let's just catch up on old times. Or how did you get on with that job? Like, I could understand that. But then you're done. You're in, out, done, right? And it's okay because you know you're over them and you know you're not going to be going for pints with them at the weekend, you know? Like, what, are you going to be helping them at the weekend? Hooking up with some girl or guy? You know? And what if they do meet someone else? It's just such a slippy slope, man. It's such a slippy slope. But there's another point actually I want to talk about here as well. This is a classic wind-up from a girl here on a guy. I only just put this up on my social media there just before I went live. So this guy sends me an email. He's getting all worked up, and I can actually understand. He's feeling emotional. He just broke up with her a couple of weeks ago. See, he's in a mess, right? And we all get into an emotional mess when you break up. So, you know, the slightest thing can trigger you, and you're not sleeping at night after a couple of weeks. And totally understand. So this guy, he's in that phase right now. So this guy sends me an email. He lives in Dublin City, and he's a big walker. Right now, give me a little bit of rope here on this one, guys, because there's a point in my story about him walking. So he works 5 days a week in Dublin City Centre, and on his lunch break, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, even if it's pissing rain, he'll bring an umbrella. He said even if it's so cold, he'll put on 4 jackets. I know he's exaggerating, but he said he will not, under any circumstance, miss his walk. And he says he's kind of, what did he say? Carved out a kind of a weird but cool route. Because it goes through a couple of buildings or there's scenery, whatever it is. But he loves this route. He says it takes him about a half an hour. And he does this every day. 5 days a week. And it gets him, clears his head. It gets him out of the office for that half an hour. And he's energized, back into the office. Let's go, hit it hard. So he then says he's been doing this for years. Now, fast forward to a couple of months later, or whenever it was. He meets a girl. He ends up matching with her on Tinder. They go out with each other. They go out with each other for 8 months. And they break up. So he's now single. Now, in the relationship, while they were getting to know each other, he told her about the route that he does every day. And he says, I work here, but I love getting out of the office. And she went, oh my God, no way, do you? And then she was fascinated because her office is on his route. Now, if this guy is telling me the truth, if he is, now we're going to assume he is. He didn't know this girl ever. He didn't know that this girl worked in this office block, okay? He had his route before he even met her. Now, fast forward, they break up. Now what happens? He said, to hell with this, I'm going back to my route. I love my walk. And you know what? To hell with it. I remember, he said, I certainly can't remember ever meeting her. I remember her from, or she doesn't even look familiar from before he was going out with her. So he said, you know what? There's probably a really good chance I'm not going to bump into her. And he said, to hell with this. I love my route. I love my freedom on my walk. I'm not giving up my route for any girl. Kind of respect it. And he even said, and he goes, you know what, Peter? I said to myself, suck it up. Get on with it. If you bump into her, well, that's your own problem. Bravo, sir. So, he hasn't met her on the walk. I think, did he say that? He hasn't met her, or she's seen him on his walk. Now, he meets a guy in a bar, I think, was it a few weeks ago, or after they've broken up. This guy knows the ex-girlfriend. The guy says anyway to the ex-boyfriend that he met the ex-girlfriend, and he says that, yeah, listen, dude, she's calling you a bit of a stalker here. And he said, what? And he said, why would she think that? He said, yeah, apparently you do this route, you do this walk or something past her office every day. And he said that, oh my God, I cannot fucking believe this is turned around. And I wrote back to him, and I even put up a social media video on this. Excuse me. Like, this girl is trying to rise this guy. Clear as day. She's trying to wind him up. Either for two reasons. One, he blows a gasket and he makes a fool out of himself in public. Maybe that's the one. Or number two, she wants him back and she wants him to react, contact him, and then, oh no, I never said that. How could you ever think that? So how are you, by the way? Are you okay? All of a sudden they start chatting, and then they're back with each other before you fucking know it. Right? I can see this bullshit a mile away. So either which one, this is happening. Now, the poor guy is a bit wound up. He's not sure what to fucking believe. Even though, like, you see, this is the problem with sometimes when you break up with somebody, you can be so screwed in your head that he even knows. Jesus. He even consciously knows he doesn't recognize her from his walks before they were ever with each other. He had this walk before he ever met her. But now he's so screwed up in the head that he's thinking, oh my God, am I doing this route because of her? Like, surely if I'd had any sense in my head, I wouldn't do this route for a while. And now he's thinking, oh my God, am I just playing with myself now and trying to convince myself? Jesus, where do we get to this where now we're... You see what I mean? When the emotions kick in, we can all get to this exhaustion level. You know? I hope that people are responding on the social media post and give this guy some clarity. I hope it helps him, what I'm saying, or anybody else, clarity. But people can be so fragile after a relationship. I've been in that situation where I've been incredibly fragile. If you told me my name was Billy after I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, I probably would have believed you. I'm like, really? Is it Billy? Jesus Christ, I almost thought it was fucking Peter, man. Oh my God. Oh, my ex-girlfriend saying my name is Billy. Oh, well, Jesus, she must be right, man. Like, you know what I mean? You could believe anything. You know? Now somebody's jumping in on TikTok, Laura. Free country, he can walk where he likes. He shouldn't have to change his route or routine. I hope to God he doesn't. I hope to God he's listening to this TikTok live, or I hope to God he listens to my podcast. Please God he's listening to one, or he sees the social media. Because my main point in that social media post was, listen buddy, it's your route. Even I said, it's your route before. And do you know what? If this is for anybody who's in this situation, if you ever have this situation and you're not sure of, oh God, now if I walk past the ex's place now, if they see me now, they're going to think I'm fucking stalking them or checking up on them. If you had a route before you ever met them, it's your fucking route. Okay? It's your route. You know at the end of the day. Sometimes that's all we need to know. That we know. You know what I mean? And I think that's very important for a lot of us. Even I can get caught up in what some people think as well, or some people say. But I always try to be self-aware. That's what we need to make up our own minds. And don't worry about the other person, because as long as you know you haven't done anything wrong, who gives a fuck what they say? Because they'll find something else to bitch and moan about. Do you know what I mean? They'll find something else to bitch and moan about. You know, if this guy wasn't the stalker or whatever she called him, psycho or stalker, he'd be, oh, he was a neglectful asshole. She'd come out with something to throw at him to get a reaction, because the whole point, if it doesn't make sense, it makes complete sense. I've said that for a long time. If it doesn't make sense, you just don't know what that person's motivation is, and they have a completely different goal or motivation what you would have. And if you knew what their motivation was, you'd go, ah, that makes sense, right? That's what you'd be saying. That's what you'd be saying. You know? Now, I don't want to compare this girl to Adolf Hitler, okay? And I'm not, by the way. But Jordan Peterson, if you know this guy, famous psychologist, he was not, I'm learning from this guy too, right? He was talking about on YouTube one time that Hitler was not as clever as people thought, right? And people said, you know, it's not a very good assumption to think. And people think, oh, he wanted the glorious, the 1,000-year Reich and all this. People assume that that's what he wants, right? But all of a sudden it all ends in tears. And what the hell happened? Why did it all go to crumbling down so fast? Doesn't make sense, right? Like what he was doing. Like he was killing people in the concentration camps, etc. And don't want to get too graphic here. But all of a sudden, why would he do that? He needed resources to build ammo, to build more camps, to do this, to do that, more resources. So why would you go do that if you want to win the war? And then Jordan Peterson turns around and says, well, actually, maybe your actual goal was to just produce utter chaos in the shortest period of time. Now, that's two different types of motivation. If you think of that motivation and go, oh, well, that makes more sense. You know? Like, maybe your girlfriend or boyfriend's acting crazy. No, let's not, again, please, let's not compare the girl to Adolf Hitler, and we're not doing that, okay? Jesus. But, like, let's say, and I've had this, your girlfriend or your boyfriend starts to act crazy. And they say that they love you, they want to be with you, but their actions aren't actually adding up here. They're causing drama for nothing. For nothing. So they're saying to you that they want this, but yet what they're doing doesn't make sense. Maybe they're terrified of being in a relationship with you, they're scared out of their mind, and actually really they don't have the balls and courage to actually own up and say, you know what, Peter, I want this over. It's done. Because they don't want that fear of regretting something afterwards. Oh God, did I make a mistake dumping Peter? Did I do this? And they don't want that fear. They just don't want that guilt. So it's easier to get dumped. So you continue to play along, right? You continue to play along that, oh yeah, Peter, I love you, of course, this and that, right? But then you just act crazy because you want Peter to dump you. So then you're the victim. You've no regrets. It's this and it's that. You're off the hook perfectly. You can go tell everybody that you love Peter, but yet, oh, well, he doesn't want to be with me. Now the focus is on Peter because he's the asshole now. Remember that. And he treated her like shit. Do you know what I mean? Now the attention's not on her. Or him. Do you know? You think about it like that, guys. That's my point. If something doesn't make sense, you just don't know what they're up to. You don't know what their motivation is. You don't know what their motivation is. figure out the motivation, and everything that they do makes unbelievable sense. They might never even tell you, by the way. You know, if somebody doesn't have the balls to just own up and say that they want it over, they're not going to tell you that they want it off. And, well, actually, Peter, do you know, yeah, I just actually want it over and I just don't want to have the guilt. Like, they're not going to admit that, you know. But you got to wise up. Like, if you think that their motivation is this, oh, they really want to be with me and they want to marry me and have kids, and everything doesn't make sense, go the complete opposite direction. Go, okay, what's the complete opposite of wanting to be with me? Right, actually, they want it over. They want me destroyed or burned to the ground, if you want to go that drastic. Or they never want to see me again. They just don't want to end it. Go the opposite way and then put everything together what they do. Then see if that makes sense. And then go in the middle. You know? Try go in the middle and see, maybe they're just a bit afraid. And is that why she's doing that, or is that why he's doing that? Do you know? Everything makes sense at the end of the day. You just don't know what their motivation is. Anyway, so that's my spiel for the day, ladies and gents. So, you know, we can get emotional. We can get wound up. Even this poor lad here a while ago, he's thinking he's a complete mess. He's even convincing himself he's being a stalker now. Because why would she say it, right? I know what this guy's going through. He's getting wound up because he can't understand why she would actually even say those words about him. So, because it doesn't make sense, he goes, Jesus, maybe I am a fucking stalker. Because there's no way she would say that about me, surely. Surely, come on. So, he's putting the blame on him. You know? Anyway, before we go, let's have one or two quick looks at TikTok here. Amanda, this is why I'm still friends with my ex, because I dump them when I see red flags. This is why I'm still friends with my exes, because I dump them when I see red flags, or when I get the ick. So why would you want to be friends with your ex if you get the ick off them or a red flag? You clearly think they're dodgy to a degree, so you can't trust them. I'm kind of out of words, I have to say, on this one. Jesus. Okay. Okay. I don't know where to go with that one. Okay, well anyway, guys, listen. I'll stay with you guys on the on TikTok here. I think it was a Cat. If you're still on, Cat, you were looking for some advice there. I'll try and help you if I can. And guys, if you listen to the podcast, thanks for listening, and we'll be back again. Bye bye.
Peter Walsh.